Bend the knee.
Valamogolas, everybody. It's Don Willie back again with another edition of Ice and Fire Opinions. And oh boy, I told you guys that after the season was over, I was going to be talking about this guy right here. This guy right here. The biggest troll of them all. You know, and all around asshole to everyone that he's ever met, Euron Greyjoy. Man, so this dude is it's like, what can you say about him that hasn't been said about, I don't know, there's a few people I can think of, but I'm gonna leave some of the names because they might be a little controversial if I start mentioning some of the names who come to mind when I think about Euron Greyjoy. So, shout out to people in the chat. We got my man Ricky Hunt, young Darth Vader, Angel Reed, FL Dobby, DJ, and Joe Swag currently with me, and of course Ion Trone and my man Lord of Last Heart. Can't talk today. Lord of Last Heart. What's up, Tony? All right. Oh man. So I wanted to wait until after season 7 was done because I wanted to see what they were gonna do with Euron, because the introduction that we got to him for season 6 was actually a little weak. We got him throwing Balon off the bridge, which I'm like, all right. They decided to go a different route than what happened in the books, which they sometimes do, and it was cool. He threw him off the bridge, comes back with the scar that he has on his cheek, I believe now, that I guess that's a permanent scar from Balon. And then he shows up to the King's Moot in the Iron Islands, and he's like, I claim the Salt Throne. Yeah, and he just kind of talks a lot of big shit, and they decide to make him the king of the Iron Islands. Now, this is different from the books because in the books, Euron isn't the one who physically kills Balon. He supposedly hires a faceless man to do it. And also, when he shows up to the King's Moot, he basically shows up with a whole crew of people that bring in all this gold and other jewels, and he's like, look, if you make me your king, then you guys can have not only all of this, but I'm gonna give you a whole bunch of other shit from Westeros and all that, and I'm gonna go and make him I'm gonna go and get Daenerys, and she's got dragons, and we're gonna rule the 7 kingdoms together, and it's gonna be the most glorious thing you've ever seen. Come on, you guys gotta follow me on this one. So he's a lot more grandiose in the books, and I was hoping we would get some semblance of that version of the show. But once I knew that that wasn't the guy we were gonna get in the show, I was like, all right, let's see what they do with him. Can they still make him a good character? And honestly speaking, I think for the show version, even though it's not, I don't even know if classic Euron would be the correct term. Even if it's not book Euron, I still think they did a good job of making him a ferocious character. It seems like they kind of melded him a little bit with his brother Victorian, who doesn't show up in the show, but they did a good job. Shout out to a couple more people who just jumped in the chat. Of course, my man Sir LT Giles, my brother from Hype's Watch, Amanda Duncan, what's going on? And also Jayon, I hope I'm spelling that right, Jayon Calrissian, and TJ Laser. And so Man, oh man. So in the books, let's talk about book character Euron and how much of a douchebag he is in the books. So, there was a chapter that was released called The Forsaken. And it was in between season 6 and 7 where we got this chapter dropped. Or was it like season 6? It might have been during season 6, right when Euron actually shows up on the show. And a lot of people have speculated that it was kind of George trolling Dan and Dave, and letting the fans know, like, yeah, hashtag not my Euron kind of thing. Because the Euron that we get in there, he has kidnapped his brother, the damp hair, Euron Greyjoy, and has decided, since Euron Damphair is like a very religious man, he's basically torturing him, trying to break him down. Because Damphair keeps on talking about no godless man shall sit this sea stone chair, because in the books it's called the sea stone chair, not the salt throne. So he's all just I mean, like, mustache twirling villain would kind of be a correct term, but he goes a little bit beyond that, because there are layers to his villainy. I mean, like, as bad as Ramsay is in the books, Euron is actually worse, and it's hard to see how you get worse than a guy like Ramsay. But Euron finds a way to do it. He gets exiled from the Iron Islands basically because he raped his brother Victorian's wife and got her pregnant, and because of that, Victorian actually killed his wife. And so Balon was just like, "Yo, dude, nah, man, you doing way too much. You gotta go, and don't return here while I still live." And so after Euron gets the Faceless Man to kill him, like literally the next day, Euron shows up. So that was, kind of a crazy thing, because yeah, it was speculated, but in that particular chapter it was confirmed. And so Euron is doing just a whole bunch of crazy shit, and again, like I said, during the King's Moot, when he shows up and has his men bring in a whole bunch of different like chests with all of these treasures that he's gathered from like all around the world, and he's like, "Look, I've been further than any of the Ironborn ever. Only I can bring you only I can bring you the glory that you guys want the Iron Islands to actually have. None of these other people really want to conquer. And even if they did, none of them have the ability. Only me. Only Euron." So, that's how he's kind of able to convince the people. But, since all the chapters that we have in Euron, or not in Euron, but about Euron, or where Euron actually is on page, they're all from different people's perspectives. I mean, there's really only two. You get one from Yara's perspective, which is the King's Moot, and then the other one from Damphair's perspective. No, two from Damphair's perspective, because there's one in A Feast for Crows, and I think it might be like either right before or after the King's Moot. And then there's the one that's the Forsaken, where he's giving away all these gifts and he's telling people all of this grandiose stuff that he wants to do, and Damphair and also Asha are like, "Hey, you know what? Nope, this shit is not right. Euron's gifts are poison." Oh, and there's also a Victorian chapter where we, you know, learn about more about Euron. So, so Euron sends Victorian off to Marine, and he's like, "I want you to go get Daenerys Targaryen and bring her back. She's gonna be my wife." He has this big horn called Dragonbinder, or at least he calls it a Dragon Binding horn. That and the crazy thing about it is, so when he comes into the King's Moot, before he actually comes in, they hear this loud horn blast, and he walks in, and after they come in or whatever, the person who blew the horn for him died because it's a magical horn, and anyone who blows the horn, winds up dying. So Euron put his blood on the horn, and he was like, yeah, I'm gonna get somebody to blow the horn for me. They'll wind up dying, but the dragon will come to me. Like a dragon will come to me because my blood is on the horn. So the whoever blows the horn at a particular dragon, when that dragon comes back, since my blood is infused with the horn, it'll obey my command. So that'll be pretty interesting to see if that actually happens. And shout out to Tyrion Jr. Landstark and also Eon Renfro. Or sorry, Renfro. So that's kind of the stuff that happens in the books or whatever. And the thing about it too is, like, so he has the ship called the Silence. Now in the show, we get a version of the Silence, and I'll be honest with you, like, it looks nothing like the book version, but the show version is badass. That's one of those things where you're like, you know what? I don't care if it looks like the books in that. That shit is awesome. And if I saw some fucking crazed Viking sea pirate, approaching my shores with that, if I don't have, the world's greatest trebuchet, I'm getting the fuck out of there as quickly as I possibly can, because that ship is awesome. So, for whatever reason, on the Silence, he has cut out the tongues of every crew member. Why he has done this, I have absolutely no idea, other than the fact that he's crazy. Absolutely crazy. And with the Forsaken chapter, him out there torturing his brother, and he's gathered all these religious figures from all over the world, and he's got them, like in the hull of his ship. He made one of the warlocks eat another one. I think he's got a red priest in there somewhere. I mean, it's crazy because, like, supposedly he just, he goes around, he collects all these religious figures, and while Aaron Dampier is saying, you are a godless man, and he's like, what are you talking about, man? I'm the most godly man ever. I've served each and every single god out there. I have sacrificed all of them, and I'm going to sacrifice you to the drowned god too. So come on, man. You should tell everybody I'm the king, and everything is all good. And Dampier just doesn't want to relent at all. So he makes him drink Shade of the Evening. Now in the books, Shade of the Evening is this kind of peyote-like drink that gives you all kinds of hallucinations. And Euron drinks it all the time, and just like the warlocks of Karth, his lips are blue from drinking it all the time, which is pretty interesting. And shout out to Stanny Barath. And so I'm like, the dude is basically on, like, the world's longest bender on a regular basis. But the crazy shit that he has claimed to do, he actually has done. I mean, like, he talks about the fact that he sailed to Valyria, and nobody believes him until dude shows up with a full suit of Valyrian steel armor, and it fits him perfectly, which means that either A, he went to Valyria and just had, he found somebody, or found someone who fit his stature and was able to get this Valyrian steel suit off of that person, and which would have been a corpse, or he found enough Valyrian steel and found the right blacksmith to rework it to make him a Valyrian steel suit. Which either way, I think they said like a Valyrian steel suit basically you would be able to buy a kingdom with a Valyrian steel suit. You can buy a kingdom. Like, to get a dagger or a sword is crazy. But to say, yeah, if you have a Valyrian steel suit of armor, you can have a kingdom. And no one will bat an eye. Like, yo, you gotta give the man his props. And shout out to AU Pack Mule. Sir, how you doing? And so, I got a lot more to talk about him, so I think my profile on him might be a little longer than most, because there's a lot to say about Euron Greyjoy. So, another thing that's, about him that is absolutely crazy is the fact that he molested his brothers growing up. And if I'm not mistaken, it's basically the two brothers that he molested were not Victorian, Aaron, and there was a younger one that wanted to get killed by Damphair. By accident. Like, they were playing this game called the Finger Dance, and the dude wound up, not catching the axe right or whatever, and wound up dying, or he got hit in the head with the axe. Point is, the younger brother died. And so while Damphair is prisoner on the ship, Euron basically is taunting him, like, yeah, remember, you used to pray a lot. I see you become a super religious man. Now I wonder, all those nights, what were you praying for? Were you praying that I would pass you by? Or were you praying that I would come through the door? And it's just like, God damn, man. Like, talk about fucking savage. Like, really? It's like, oh, God, man. Shout out to Lord of the Last Hearth. Yeah, it was Euron, and yes, he did die from the finger dance. Yeah, so, like, yo, this dude basically is taunting his brother for the fact that he raped him, and molested him for years, basically until Balon kicked him out of the Iron Islands. Like, what kind of sadistic fuck are you to be doing that to, anybody, but especially family members? Like, oh, come on, man. Like, just, talk about absolutely despicable, deplorable, whatever other adjectives you might want to use for him. But yeah, man, that's just no good. Absolutely no good whatsoever. So, enough about book Euron. Let's go to show Euron, because show Euron, totally different animal. As you can see, he's on the screen here, and he for lack of a better term, is a troll. I mean, that's part of the reason why I'm wearing this Deadpool hat, because Deadpool is a massive troll, and Show Euron is a massive troll. When he first shows up in season 7, he proceeds to just troll the shit out of Jamie. You know, he's trying to undercut the whole thing with Cersei and try to make it seem as just like, hey, you know, I'm just a friendly guy here. You know, look, you don't really want the Iron Islands. The Iron Islands are nothing but shit-stained rocks and unattractive people. Except for me, I'm very attractive, aren't I? Got on the guy liner and all of this leather. I know you like it, Cersei. I know you like it. You want to make the sexy time, don't you? So he's, you know, proposing that he wants to get married to Cersei because, you know, ever since I was a little boy, I wanted to grow up and marry the most beautiful women in the whole wide world. So here I am, with 1,000 ships and 2 good hands. And you know what's the funny thing? So I'm wondering, right, with the whole Jamie Cersei incest thing, like, how many people know about that? Because for Euron to make that joke, especially as long as he's been away, how common, you know, how commonplace is the how commonplace is the insinuation that he has been sleeping with his sister? You know, because even Tormund brings that up. When Jon and Davos get to the wall, Jon Davos and Jorah Mormont, when they get to the wall, and Tormund is like, "Oh, which queen do you have to impress? The one that fucks her brother, or the one with the dragons?" And I'm like, okay. I'm just wondering, like, how in the world there's so many people. Like, how many of them heard this? Like, how are they all hearing about this? This is crazy. But yeah, it's absolutely hilarious that Euron kind of has the nerve to just say that to Jane, like, to make that insinuation right in Jamie's face. Like, yeah, you can't do shit about it. So then you have him saying, look, you know, I'm gonna go get a gift. I'm gonna bring back a gift, priceless, because every woman likes gifts. They like shiny things, and then you will make me your king. So he goes, and again, this is now in normal circumstances, I would probably rate this as a downgrade for the show, but I think the way that they had Euron come in when he attacks Yara's fleet was so awesome that, look, I don't care if the scouts didn't pick him up, man. It was pitch black, you know. He's got black sails on his boat. It probably didn't have any lights, you know, like any lanterns lit purposely or something. And he comes in with, you know, just super fury. He kills 2 of the sand snakes. And look, man, think about it. We for the past couple of seasons have been complaining about the writing for the sand snakes and anything having to do with Dorne in particular. So I don't think there was anybody who was like, "Oh my god, they killed the sand snakes! I can't believe it! You're an asshole." No, they're like, "Oh shit, somebody had to do it. Guess it might as well have been him." And he kills Nymeria and also Obara in very brutal fashion. He captures Yara, makes Theon jump off the boat, run like a coward, and then parades Yara, Ilaria, and what's the youngest one that shows her tits all the damn time? Tyene. Parades them through the streets of King's Landing. And, you know, all the while trolling Yara talking about it's giving him erection. The fact that he is getting cheered while dragging his prisoners through King's Landing. And I must say, Euron coming down off that gangplank, uh, absolutely amazing. Like mustache twirling villain style with the, and looking super crazy with the yeah and all that. Yeah, he did a fantastic job. And I don't know if anyone else noticed it, but I noticed it immediately. He had a kraken on the axe that he was chopping everyone down with. Like literally a kraken. Like I don't know if it was enameled or soldered or whatever, but it was on the axe, and that was beyond awesome. So can't say enough about that as far as production design is concerned. And when he finally gets into the throne room, he brings his prisoners in. He hands over Elaria and Tyene, and he is, talking all kinds of shit. He's like, yes, I brought you what no other man could. Justice for your murdered daughter. Like, wow. And again, trolling the shit out of Jaime with that one. Because he looks right at Jaime when he says that, too. And, Cersei's like, oh, you're a good friend of the crown. He's like, you deserve more than a friend. And, listen, and let's be honest about it. Cersei is not planning to keep up her end of the bargain. And neither is Euron. The moment they get the chance, they're going to be looking for how can they kill the other person to take over their position. Period, point blank. It's not going to be any of this, all right, well, cool, we got this alliance, let's just keep everything 100. Nah, it's not going to happen whatsoever. And then when, when Cersei announces that Euron is going to be the captain of all of our fleets and Jaime is the general of all of the armies or whatever, and he's standing there talking to Jaime, and like, oh man, he's like, when he says to yeah, look, when we have some time, I'd like to speak, brother to brother, maybe you can give me some advice. And Jaime's like, advice? What the fuck are you talking about advice? He's like, does she like it rough? How does she like it? A finger in the bum? The look on Jaime's face, like, you motherfucker, I should kill you right now. He's like, shh, no. We'll talk later. Oh my god. Listen, as perverse as that line is, that was probably one of the best lines in season 7. Period, point blank. And why? Only because Euron delivered it and he trolled the shit. He trolled the shit out of Jaime. And shout out to Darth Whiffy. Yeah, man, that was just absolutely I don't even know what else to say about that, man. That was just absolutely hilarious. Now the only thing I wish they could have kept up that level when we got to episode 7. Because he interrupts Tyrion. He starts telling a dwarf joke and making a threat to him and all that. And it was like, okay, yeah, he threatens to kill Yara if Theon doesn't submit to him. And yeah, it wasn't Euron trolling, it was him being a dick just to be a dick. But apparently this is all part of the plan. And then the whole thing with him saying like, "Hey, well, I'm out of here. If these whites can't swim or whatever, the dead army can't swim. I'm going back to the Iron Islands." And he tells Daenerys to go back to Dragonstone. He was like, "After this is all over, it'll be just me and you. It makes it sexy time, right? It's nice." So, like honestly speaking, when he first steps up to the dead white, which now is dead for the second time. When he steps up to it and is looking out, and he's like, "Oh, I'm out of here. I've been all over the world. I've seen things you can't imagine, but this scares me." I was kind of like, I'm not really buying that Euron would be that scared. I mean, like, dude, you've been talking so much shit to everybody for all this time, and you tell me like this is the thing that scares you to death? I thought you'd be the first one to be like, "Oh, fuck it, I'm Euron. I can go kill all this shit by myself." But then again, you know what? That sounds more like a Victorian line. Victorian would be like, I'm Victorian Greyjoy. I'm the Kraken. Go and chop them all down to me axe. I don't know if that's how Victorian would sound in real life, but since we don't have a real life example, fuck it. That's what That's what we get. Yeah, man. So it was refreshing to learn that he's going to pick up the Golden Company and bring them back. And even though unfortunately we didn't get as much Euron as I would have liked. I want to see what they're going to do with him in season 8. Obviously, he's going to die because he has to die. You can't leave a guy like him for the end of the story running around unchecked. You can't. It's just not going to be possible. How he's going to die in the books is another kind of question. And it's funny though, because like when you think about the whole thing with the Valyrian steel, with the Valyrian steel armor. Now, like I was gonna do a video a few months ago, a theory video where I was gonna talk about Jon Snow and his dream of fighting the White Walkers on top of on top of the wall, armored in black ice with the flaming sword. And I think a week after I really started going hard and doing research, to put together the video, the Forsaken chapter dropped, and I was like, "Oh, there goes my theory," because I'm pretty sure that black ice is him referring to the Valyrian steel armor, because the Valyrian steel armor is like black with like white or like red ripples running through it. So I mean, it's obvious that Jon is going to wind up taking that Valyrian steel armor from Euron Greyjoy at some point. So now, whether or not Jon is actually the one to kill him, that I'm not sure about. But that's going to be the guy wearing the armor. All right. And shout out to Sim and Marilyn Bentley. And also, it is question time. So let me put this in the chat so people know. So for some reason, I don't know why it never is 1-to-1 sync. It's always a few seconds behind. So let me bring up the chat so we can see what questions people have for me today. Oh man, Sim says he hates the show you're on. Alright. I mean, listen, it is what it is, man. I liked him for the fact that they made him a totally different character, and like I said, sometimes trolls are cool, man. Trolls are not good when they're doing it to real life people. When you're trolling real life people, and especially when you're doing it specifically to cause pain to people, then like, yeah, fuck you, kill yourself. But look, if you're just trolling somebody and it's like really just some fun shit, yeah, fine, it's cool. But like, yeah, to actually go on and try hurting people now, man, like, fuck that. All right, so from Sim, do you think the book's dragon binder will get Euron a dragon, or do you think Makoro will bind the horn to Dany? I mean, well, Dany doesn't need the horn because she already has her bond, specifically with Drogon. But I do think that Euron could wind up getting a dragon. That would be, yeah, that would be interesting. That would be interesting to see, like, what would Euron do with a dragon, though? Because it's one thing to get a dragon. Is the next question is, what do you do with the dragon once you get him? So, we'll see what happens with that one. Another one from Sim. And do you think Bloodraven or the Great Other visited him when he was younger? Yeah, I mean, like you stated, there are hints in the books. He talks about having dreams and wanting to fly, and it's kind of hinted at that he might be sort of a low level green seer. Maybe not so much a warg, but some sort of low level green seer, and that may be the advantage that he's had for all this time. That's helped him to win these many battles. That may have been the thing that helped him to navigate through Valyria and get that Valyrian steel armor. All right, so from Angel Reed. All right, so happy about the Littlefinger death. I seen your last video saying it better not be BS. Okay, look, so again, my big thing, and shout out to Bogelmeister. My big thing is, or it was like, all right, I don't care if you kill Littlefinger. Like, Littlefinger, is a character that I like, and the fact, and you see the banner is down. Took the banner down Sunday after he died. But my whole thing is, if you're going to kill Littlefinger, you can't kill him without exposing the things that he did. Now, I'm satisfied with the fact that he got exposed before he died, but I'll be honest with you, I wasn't like, after finding out the inner workings of all that, I wasn't like, the more I think about it, the more I wasn't particularly happy with the way that they did it. So I'll give you a super quick breakdown of how I would have done that scene if it were me personally. So, it's already known that Arya and Sansa actually really had beef. They weren't working together until that scene, right? So what I would have had happen is Sansa still actually tries to put Arya on trial. You don't have Bran there. You have Littlefinger on the side. Arya and Sansa are kind of going through their back and forth. Bran actually comes in and is like, "What are you doing?" Like, no, she tried to kill me. She threatened me, this, that, and the third. And like, she's your sister. She's not the real enemy. The real enemy is in this room, though. And then Bran proceeds to give exposition about all the Littlefinger shit. Littlefinger tries to run. He's captured by Jon Royce and a couple of Winterfell guards. Sansa, kind of starts crying and it's like, I can't believe this. I protected you. I lied for you. You killed my aunt Liza, and I lied for you because I thought you were helping me this whole time. Because the thing I think that Sansa they shouldn't have done with Sansa is make her super hostile to Littlefinger this entire season, because that kind of undercut the reason why Littlefinger was there to begin with. So I think it would have worked out better to have Bran kind of come in the middle of Arya and Sansa squabbling while they're supposed to be doing this whole trial or whatever, and then just drop the bag and be like, boom, here goes all the evidence, and then have them kill Littlefinger. But I might get into a deeper explanation in another video, but I just wanted to give like a quick breakdown of what I would have done differently that I think would make things work better. And shout out to my man Mark from Enchantment of Eternity. Oh man, you and acting kind of versus Philly Issues guy. That was interesting. That was very interesting. I wish I could have been there. Let's see here. All right, let's see. What is Joe Swag saying here? The guy who played him talk shit. He said he'd be worse than Ramsay. He was like in 3 episodes and only killed people we didn't like or care about. Lame. I mean, you can say that. I mean, look, like I said, I for what they gave, I think he was impactful for what they actually gave him. But I really wish that he would have gotten more to do. And this is one of the big problems with them deciding to chop down the season from 10 episodes to 7. Is that we didn't get Euron really doing the most that he could have been doing. All right, so from Ian Renfro, what will be the importance of Euron's Valyrian steel armor in the books? Will he fight the others? Most likely, Euron is working for the others. So I think like I was saying earlier, I think the purpose of the Valyrian steel armor is for Jon to get it so that he can fight the White Walkers. Like I said, I was gonna do a video because I remember the whole thing about Jon having the dream of him fighting on top of the wall, armored in black ice. And I was like, oh, wow, maybe Jon Snow might get a new power. And then as soon as that Forsaken chapter dropped, I was like, oh, there goes that video. So, yeah, Euron is going to die. Like I said, whether or not Jon is going to kill him, that I'm not sure. But Euron is going to die, and Jon is going to take his Valyrian steel armor. All right, so from Stannis Baratheon, the one true king of Westeros. Do you think the show is going to end with the dragons going extinct again? I can see that. I mean, personally, I think that Daenerys is going to have only Drogon left at the end of it, and that she is going to look around and be like, you know what, I'm done for. I don't. This is not what I came to Westeros for, and she's going to get on her dragon and go across the Sunset Sea. That's how I would end Dany's story. That's how I would end Dragons. It makes things super legendary, but that may be a little too pedestrian for the story. From AU Pack Mule, why does Cersei trust him enough? I guess why does trust him with enough gold to secure the Golden Company? Well, here's the thing, right? So I don't think it's that she trusts him with the gold. I think the gold probably was given to the Golden Company by the Iron Bank. Because remember, Tychonosaurus said, hey, I got connections with the Golden Company. The Golden Company have helped us recover some money before, so we'll give you a loan extension, and I'll talk to the Golden Company for you. So it was probably a thing where Euron never actually got to touch the gold. The gold probably went straight from the Iron Bank to the Golden Company on behalf of Cersei and the Crown. Let's see here. Alright, so another one from Angel Reed. Whoa, where the hell did it go? Sorry, this thing just kind of jumped on me. Let's see. People keep saying the Hound will kill the Mountain. How is that even possible when they made the Mountain look unstoppable in this zombie form? They had the Hound even lose to Brienne. So I've heard, and it's funny, I've heard people speculate this like literally the moment that season 7 ended. They think that at some point the Hound and the Mountain are going to meet up, and that Beric Dondarrion, like, the Hound is going to get killed. Beric Dondarrion is going to bring the Hound back to life. That's going to be Beric Dondarrion's last life that he gives to the Hound, and then somehow that's able to sustain the Hound so he can defeat the Mountain. So, yeah, I want to see how that's all going to happen. Because yes, he is almost an unstoppable monster at this point, the Mountain. But I think that I've been saying for years that I think that the Mountain is going to wind up dying by the hand of the Hound. I've been talking about Clegane Bowl since before I knew that there was a term for it. So yeah, excuse me. I definitely think that that there's going to be some way. Like, I don't know how they're going to do it in the show. In the books, I think it's going to be something about on the way to Casterly Rock, because I think Cersei is going to wind up fleeing King's Landing and going to Casterly Rock. And on the way there, I think that the Hound and the Mountain are finally going to have their fight, and they could both possibly die. I think it could be double KO for that one. But the how is the question. Alright, so from Gian Calrissian, do you think Euron, the book version, has anything to do with the Night's King? So here's the thing. So the Night's King is not the dude from the show. There is no kind of White Walker leader that we know of in the books. Now, if you want to talk about the legendary Night's King, I think the legendary Night's King was Bran the Builder. And who knows? You know what? Maybe one day I'll do a chat. I'll do a live stream where I just talk about like theories that I've had that I may not have put on video yet. And I'll talk about my Bran the Builder being the Night's King, etc., and all that. There's 3 stories that I think are all of Bran the Builder, and all from like different points in his life. Let's see here. Oh, shout out to Video Game Vision Quest, and also Wolf the Feared 123. Alright, let's see what other ones we got. I am surprised that we don't have any from Ricky Hunt. Ricky, you're slipping right now, man. Alright, so another one from Angel Reed. How come Lord Royce of the Vale was even allowed to refuse Littlefinger's command? I thought he had to serve him until Robert Aaron ordered him otherwise. Well, listen, Robin Aaron is not there. And Jan Royce has been waiting for a long time to get rid of Littlefinger. And, now that now that Sansa has confirmed what he suspected about about Littlefinger killing Lysa Arryn, um, yeah, like why do I need to follow him now? He's a traitor. He committed murder. He murdered my liege, liege lady, liege lord, whatever the title would be. So yeah, I don't have to follow his orders anymore. And like I said, Jan Royce was waiting for something. He was waiting for anything to get rid of Baelish, and that was the thing. So now yes, if you want to talk about by law, yeah, he should have followed his orders. I mean, because listen, Littlefinger did not get any kind of actual fair trial whatsoever. He got no fair trial whatsoever. But it is what it is. Littlefinger had to die. They did what they did with him. All right, so for Marilyn Bentley, so the Littlefinger hire the assassin to kill Bran? I doubt it. I really doubt it because I mean that wouldn't really make any sense. Because he'd have to know a lot more about Bran. Yeah, he'd have to know a lot more about Bran to want to have him killed. I mean, the kid was in a coma. What? It's like, what purpose would that have served him? And plus, he was in Winterfell. I mean, not in Winterfell. He was at King's Landing. So remember, all of this happened when the Lannisters were actually still in Winterfell. No, No, they weren't in Winterfell. Bran got pushed when they were still in Winterfell. The assassin came maybe a week later. Yeah, but there would have to be some reason that he would have done that. In the books, it's pretty much heavily implied that Joffrey did it because he overheard Robert Baratheon saying that it's more merciful to kill Bran than let him be a cripple for the rest of his life. So they didn't really do that in the show. And the funny thing about it is, even in the books, like that kind of more comes up after Joffrey is even dead. And I mean, listen, it is what it is. That's kind of one of those. That's one of those things that they've kind of dropped for the show in terms of plot lines. They drop a lot of stuff kind of in the middle where it's just like, all right, well, we'll just get past that and hopefully nobody will notice. But I noticed. Shout out to my man Lenny. Lenny, I sent you my info, man. So don't be talking about I didn't send you my info, all right? All right, let's see here. All right, so finally, one from Ricky. Alright, so for Ricky Hunt, do you think Snowgate was used to give unwanted bastards of the North to the others? Do the Umbers give their bastards from First Night to the others? You know what? That is a very interesting question because so I mean, it's kind of a rumor about the Umbers with the whole Prima Nocta thing. And for those of you who don't know what Prima Nocta is, that's the Latin term for Lord's right to the first night. Basically where it's like I get to sleep with whoever the lord of that land is, gets to sleep with a man's wife before that actual man does. Yeah, which is, I'm like, really? That sounds like the craziest thing possible. But from all the research that I've done on it, it's more of a myth than an actual thing. But I'm pretty sure it probably came from somewhere. I mean, like, yeah. Mm-mm-mm. That shit is crazy. That should make absolutely no sense. Whatever. Fucking, I'm gonna let you sleep with my wife before I do. Like what? Motherfucker, you done lost your mind. Now as far as the Snowgate, I mean, look, I wouldn't doubt that. Like, oh, it wouldn't make sense that Craster is the only person in the entire Seven Kingdoms, or at least especially in the North, to ever give his kids to the White Walkers. Like, that makes absolutely no sense. Like, yo, out of all these, thousands or hundreds of thousands of people who have lived over the past few thousand years, only one man was somehow able to make a deal with the White Walkers to give up his sons to become more white. And see, here's the thing. Like, I doubt that in the show, the fact that the Night King turns Craster's baby into a White Walker, like, I doubt that that's something that was just made up for the show, even though it could be. But, he's obviously giving his kids to the White Walkers for something, and he's very happy about it. But, then again, he's a sick perv who just wants to sleep with his sister wives. I don't know what the term would be, but you get my meaning. So, yeah, like, I don't know. We need to learn more about the White Walker culture. Because there has to be some kind of culture. I mean, they have a language. When they're when they are letting Waymar Royce fight one-on-one, and they're kind of laughing at Waymar Royce. I mean, to me, that seems more like, that it's a sport thing, and you don't get sport without a culture, because sport is an organized kind of thing, and that only comes from a society that has some kind of culture, or at least that's the kind of prevailing wisdom on that. Let's see. So yeah, I want to see more about the White Walker culture to find out what the Snowgate might have been used for, and whether or not they've been taking Umber children, and who else besides Craster has sacrificed their sons to the White Walkers. Alright, so from F. Al Dabi, will the Night's King invade King's Landing? I'm thinking that he has to. I mean, look, from one of the things from Brand's visions that we see is the dragon flying over King's Landing. Now, it's either going to be one of three things, in my opinion. Either this is after the war, it's spring, and there's peace throughout the land, and you just got a dragon flying over King's Landing, and that kind of shows the peace after the war. It's Bran warging a dragon, and deciding to fly around all Westeros, or it is the Night King on the dragon invading King's Landing and just about to wreck shop for real. Alright, so from Patrick Glanville, will the Night King head straight for Winterfell? That is a very interesting question. You know what's the funny thing about it? Like, since we don't know what his motivations are, it would be the craziest shit if the Night King gave zero fucks about what's going on in the North and headed straight past Winterfell and was like, nah, I'm not, like, yeah, I had to kill you guys to build up the army, but nah, I give zero fucks about, none of these castles in the North. Like, imagine that being the scene that it opens up with, not maybe in episode 1, but episode 2 is like, we've been tracking the White Walkers' movements, and apparently they're not attacking any castles. They've been marching along the King's Road, they've been raising the dead, but they haven't attacked Last Hearth, They're having an attack call hold. And apparently, it looks like they're walking straight past Winterfell. Well, where the bloody hell are they going? I have no idea. But apparently, they have no interest in the North. Like, that shit would be crazy. That shit would be absolutely crazy. But yeah, who knows? I mean, like, Jon is at Winterfell, or at least he will be. Bran is at Winterfell, and it seems like he really wants to kill Bran. You know, I keep on hearing the whole Bran is the Night King theory, and I don't want to believe it, even though the theory seems about that much plausible. You know, but I don't want to believe that one. I hope that's not what they're gonna do. And shout out to Kat and Katie and Sutherland. Oh man! All right, so see what we got next. Oh, and also shout out to Wingy, Harry Cook, Curtis Williams, and Ida Niles, and RNS Smith, 2003. Let's see here. Alright, so let me try to get back to questions. Let's see here. So Marilyn Bentley says, I thought Littlefinger hired the guy to kill Bran as another way to cause strife between the Starks and the Lannisters. This isn't a show, of course, and the books I think is shot. Honestly speaking, I really don't know what the purpose would be. I like A, Littlefinger needs motive. B, Littlefinger needs the information about this. I mean, you know, because you gotta think about it. If Catelyn's not in the room, Bran winds up dying. They were already gonna blame the Lannisters anyway. You know, and it, like, to me, that's just I don't know, because show Littlefinger and book Littlefinger are different. Show Littlefinger made a lot of moves that were highly questionable. So it could be, but I don't know. If I ever meet D&D, I'm gonna have to, you know, hem those two up, pulling body, tugging body ears. I'm like, God damn it, who hired that fucking cat's paw? You should have answered the goddamn question definitively for us, you bastards. That's about all I can say for that one. Because I honestly don't have a good answer, because there may not be a good answer. Okay, from Harry Cook. Am I the only one who thinks Jon is just too perfect for a dark, feudal, fictional world like Westeros? He's basically becoming Aragon here. Yeah, he is a little too perfect. You know, like Theon said, he always does the right thing. I mean, yeah, because I mean, like, all right, other than him charging at Ramsay when he shouldn't have, what other wrong things has he done? Now, it can be debated. I mean, like, maybe him not fully expressing enough to the Night's Watch about the whole White Walker threat. But there isn't too much that you can look at Jon and say, you know what, that was a real stupid move you made, or that was like a fucked up move on your choice in terms of you should feel bad as a human being. You know, other than maybe the way that he left Ygritte, and even that, it was like, look, he didn't want to do that. He's just like, look, you know how fucked up shit is right now. Like, I gotta defend. I gotta defend my people. I have to. You know, you expect me to march with you guys to kill the people who I swore to protect. Like, come on, I have to, and then put him in an impossible position. So it is, what it is. All right, so from Lenny Lopez, didn't Stannis hire the Golden Company? You know what? Here's the thing. Oh, and shout out to King McKay, all the way from the future. And also shout out to Rogue Gaming. I think Stannis talked about hiring the Golden Company in season 5. I think he talked about hiring the Golden Company, but never actually got around to doing it. It was I don't know. I have to go back and rewatch because I think Davos mentioned about trying to get the Golden Company, and wait, it didn't. I think Stannis rebuffed that, if I'm not mistaken. I think Stannis was like, oh, hold on. What is this? Mark from Enchantment in the Returner says, in season 5, Davos specifically mentioned that the Golden Company was with Stannis in the North. Really? All right. Because I could have sworn he might have rebuffed that. I could be wrong. I mean, I guess I'm wrong then. So, I mean, but here's the thing, though, right? So, remember, the Golden Company, well, not the Golden Company, but if you remember with Stannis' storyline, after he burned Shireen, it said half his army bailed on him. And in fact, I think they said all of the sellswords bailed on him. So maybe all of those sellswords that they were talking about was the Golden Company. Because he had his own army, he had the sellswords, so maybe the entirety of the sellswords that they were talking about was the Golden Company that bailed. So it makes sense if that is the case. If that is the through line that they're using, then it makes sense that they would be available for Cersei. And shout out to Wingy again. I'm glad that you actually liked my commentary on Rora's channel. And shout out to Roris. She helped me to break 3,000 subs. I am over 3,000 subscribers right now. Thank you in large part to Roris having me on her channel. So I am forever indebted to you, Red Witch. Oh man. All right, Curtis Williams. Do you think Bran's plot is a disappointment? Yeah. For one, the way that they've had him act for season 7, especially with the real kind of up and down, creepy Brandable Lecter, Brand 9000, Robbie the Robot kind of thing that they had going on with him. Again, there were things that I would have changed that I think would have been vast improvements, but hey, they didn't hire me to do the show. They hired Dan and Dave. Yeah, and I just think that I think Bran was kind of wasted this season. They didn't really have him do shit. They really didn't. It's like, for all of this, I can see everything. It's like he tells people he can see everything, then immediately asks them, "Why are you here?" Like, what? What sense does that make? You just said you can see everything. If you can see everything that has happened in the past, and I keep on hearing people say past, present, and future, He never says future. Go back and watch. Bran never says he can see the future. He says he can see everything in the past and he can see everything in the present. But I'm like, yeah, how did he not know about the High Septon's diary? Or even if he didn't know about the High Septon's diary, I mean, like, he knows that there was a baby. He knows that the baby that was born in Tower of Joy was Jon Snow. Dude, do some rewinding. Sit there, get your binge watch on, and watch the whole damn thing. You would have seen that, like, okay, I'm gonna follow Rhaegar today. All right. Oh, Rhaegar got his marriage annulled by the High Septon. Oh, what's gonna happen next? Oh, he married my Aunt Lyanna. Like, the fact that he needed Sam to tell him that was kind of like, really, really, Mister, I can see everything. Oh, but Sam, why are you here, Winterfell? Arya, I can see everything. Why are you here, Winterfell, instead of King's Landing? I can't, man. Can't. God damn it, showrunners can't. Alright, Katie and Sutherland. Do you think there has to be a blood sacrifice to create a dragon or a Targaryen? Dany, Jon, I guess it's supposed to be Tyrion. Yeah, Tyrion killed their mother, and in order for Dany's eggs to hatch, Drogo, her son, and horse had to die. That's very interesting. I mean, the only thing about it is it would go against established lore for how dragon eggs were hatched, because prior to the Dance of the Dragons, the Targaryens just used to take dragon eggs and put them in the cribs with the babies, and sometimes the eggs would hatch, sometimes they wouldn't. So I mean, and it wasn't a particular blood sacrifice that we know of. Now maybe there's something we'll find out in the Fire and Blood book later, that they put a dragon egg in the crib, but right before that they had to kill a goat or something like that, or they had to kill a servant, or who knows. But as far as we know, that's not established lore for how dragon eggs hatched. And George has said the whole thing with Dany walking in the fire was a one-time event. So honestly speaking, I don't have a better explanation than that. All right, so for Ricky Hunt, is Euron the Great Stone Beast that takes wing from the smoking tower, breathing shadow fire in Dany's undying visions. A smoking tower sounds like the High Tower sigil, and he sacks Old Town. Let's see here. So let me just Great Stone Beast takes wing from the smoking tower, breathing shadow fire. But see, here's the thing, though, right? So that also reminds me of the burning Winterfell, because Bran, if I'm not mistaken, sees through Summer's eyes, to me, what appears to be a dragon coming out of the ruins of Winterfell while it's burning. So I don't know. It's hard to say with that one, man. And I God damn it, George. Like, I know this is a hard process, but like we need something that kind of gives us some clues to some of this stuff, man. Honestly speaking. Let's see here. Oh, shout out to Todd Fowler. All right, so for Curtis Williams, would you skip out on season 8 if T-Wow is not released? Be honest. No, I'm not gonna skip out on season 8. I mean, I'm hoping that, and it's funny because it seems as though they've already written season 8. Season 8 scripts have already possibly leaked. I watched one video and I honestly blocked out a lot of that stuff, and I'm hoping that I forget everything by next season. I'm not watching any more leaked anything. I'm not talking about any actual leaks. If people want to do predictions, we can do that, but I'm not talking about any leaks. I'm not gonna go through what I did this year with basically knowing practically everything that was gonna happen. Not doing that again. But now, if the Winds of Winter isn't released, I'm not going to skip out on season, because remember, Winds of Winter isn't supposed to be the last book anyway. And just judging by the chapters that we've gotten so far, it's going to be so vastly different that I'd have a way different experience reading the book than watching the show. So I'm not going to be sitting there worried about spoilers or anything. So now it's fine if the Winds of Winter isn't released by the time season 8 comes out. It's it's nothing. It's not a big deal. All right, so from Todd Fowler, which character took the most L's this season? I think it has to be Tyrion. Plus, Peeping Tom. Yeah, plus seeing him being Peeping Tom in the final in the finale. Yeah, Tyrion took the most L's because every plan, literally every plan that he had, just absolutely went to shit. Every plan. There was nothing that he did this entire season, with the exception of calling Jon and telling him to come to Dragonstone. Other than that, everything else he did was straight fail. The runner-up for that one would probably be Littlefinger, because Littlefinger, they made him stupid. The moment, look, if I were Littlefinger, let's say everything happened the way it did. The moment that Bran shows up, I give him the dagger or whatever, and he says chaos is a ladder. Like, I know that's a conversation I only have with Varys. This kid should not know anything about me with the chaos is a ladder monologue. Jan Royce, we the fuck up out of here. I'm sorry. Nope, no. Look, we are the Vale Army. We already know the White Walkers are coming. We belong in the Vale. Fuck that. We're going home. Straight up and down. So Littlefinger takes the second amount of L's for not being true Littlefinger. Hashtag not my Baelish. Let's see here. Let's see here. Alright, so from Cat, who do you think may die first once the White Walkers reach Winterfell? Honestly speaking, I honestly do not know. And shout out to Leslie Powell and FLW. I'll get to your question. I'm sorry about that I missed that one. But who will die first? Man, that's a tough question. Only because again, we don't know what the White Walkers' motives are. We know they want to kill human beings, but we don't know why. Right? So imagine how crazy that would be if the White Walkers literally just started passing by castles in the north. I mean, yes, it sounds highly far-fetched. It sounds absolutely ludicrous, but I mean, you've seen season 7, all right? Anything can happen. But all right, to get to Winterfell, who dies first? I'd say Jan Royce. Bronze Jan Royce would probably be the first casualty. He he's somebody that, even though he has speaking parts, is not necessarily a fan favorite. And also, I mean, like, what purpose is he serving? So, and if not him, uh Lord Glover. And it's funny because I'm not even sure what Glover he is. I'm not sure if he's Robert Glover, Robert, whatever, or Galbart. I don't even know what Lord Glover he is. I just know he's Lord Glover. So yeah, it's either gonna be Jan Royce or Lord Glover would be the first ones to die at Winterfell. All right, so from F. Al Dhabi, non-GOT, who is the real legend, Ali or Mayweather? I think Ali, because Ali fought in a much more competitive time, and you know, even though Ali did take a couple of losses, I mean, to he lost to other guys who became legends. I mean, many of the people that Mayweather has fought, I don't know if these guys will also become legends in their own right. So, you know, it's one thing to go out and beat guys who also became legends, or to be beat by guys who became legends while you also become a legend. It's another one to beat guys who, you know, their legacy will be questionable once their career is over. All right. Yeah. Rest in peace to Mayor Carcetti. Mm-mm. Yeah, Leslie, Tyrion's lack of brothel visits and wine has thrown him off his game. Oh, Deneen Soul, what's going on? Haven't seen you in a long time. Shout out to Deneen Soul. Okay, let's see here. Alright, so babies were mentioned many times this season. Now that R'hllor and the Great Other is at a climax, please discuss the significance of how babies are tied to this. So, I mean, well, look, you know, life is a cycle of death and rebirth. You know, so you have, excuse me, with R'hllor and the Great Other. I mean, see, here's the thing, right? So while I see that you put that R'hllor kind of equals life and the Great Other equals death, but think about it. The the priest of the Red Temple, you know, like they sacrifice people. You know, Melisandre uh, sacrifices people to R'hllor. I mean, you know, that's death. They kill him. She's like, oh, you know, cleanse away your sins, but they're dying. I mean, it's not like, you know what that kind of reminds me of. There's an old movie from either late '60s or maybe early to mid '70s called Logan's Run, where everyone only lives to be either 25 or 30. And they got like these special like little like jewels in their hand, and so once they reach the age of when they're supposed to die, they go into this thing called a renewal machine or whatever. But it's really a murder machine, and it's to kind of control the population or whatever. Uh, but everybody there is just like, oh man, it's so great. Yeah, I'm going to get renewed, but they think they're going to get reborn, and they're not. They're going to die. Um, and so it's just one of those things where, you know, R'hllor isn't necessarily inherently life. But how babies are tied into all of this is just really, um, it's really one of those things where it's the cycle of life trying to outwin over death. And so obviously the more children that are born, the more life is created. But at the same point, all of those children are going to die at some point, whether or not they die in infancy, or whether or not they die at year 105. So it's all a cycle, but babies represent the beginning of the cycle, and death is the end of the cycle. So the significance, if I had to boil it down to what I think the significance is just that life maintains, and sometimes it thrives, sometimes it wanes, but life still does go on. So I hope I answered your question. Shit, why can I not think of the word? Successfully? Yeah, I'll have to use that one because I can't think. There's another word I have in my mind, and I can't like fully pull it out right now for some reason. Ridiculous. All right, so from Joe Swag, is Bron John hiding man boobs under the chest plate he never takes off? Is he like that kid who wears his t-shirt to the pool? Could be, but I mean, look, Ron John is just one of those dudes that is very proud. Remember, look, so in the books, I mean, it's a bronze. He has a bronze chest plate. Now you got to remember, we're living in a world that actually has steel weaponry, steel armor. So if we're going by real world, what you call it? How do you say it? Like real world standards. And technically, for one, if that thing, because remember, the Royce is supposed to be a firstman house. So unless they've been doing some great polishing to keep that armor, that especially that chest plate still shiny and new, that thing should have crumbled to dust a long time ago. And shout out to Hypernuts who just subscribed. Yeah, so that thing should have crumbled to dust by now, unless they're really doing a great job. But I know it has rooms on it, and it's supposed to kind of be enchanted and all that stuff. Yeah, but in the show it doesn't look bronze. It looks more like steel, like a kind of like non-shiny steel. And remember, bronze is not the color steel, even though I don't remember. Is bronze made out of iron ore? I don't know. I gotta look at my elemental table again. I forget about that stuff sometimes. But no, I just think it's a powerful family heirloom. Supposedly it has magic properties, and it's one of those things that shows. I mean, you have all these symbols that are kind of like, this is my right to rule or be lord of this house or whatever may have you comes from specific items. And so Bron John Royce having that bronze chest plate kind of symbolizes, like, yeah, I'm a Royce. This is where my power comes from, etc. So it's cool. Hopefully he wouldn't wear that to the pool. I mean, that would be kind of ridiculous. But I know that's not what you were saying. But listen, you gotta do what you gotta do. Some people aren't embarrassed by the way they look. I don't think Ron John is embarrassed by the way he looks. I just think he's obsessed with it because it kind of it kind of shows his strength. And Hypernut says bronze isn't made from iron. Okay, thank you. Yeah, because like I said, it's been a while since I checked the elemental table and all that stuff. So sometimes I forget about. I know that steel is a more refined version of iron, but I forget sometimes about because you hear about the different ages. You get the Bronze Age, the Iron Age, and then the modern age with more steel. And even though you could still kind of say that we're in the Iron Age because steel is made from iron. So yeah, I know I just went totally off the rails there, but I think you guys know my point. All right, so for Curtis Williams, favorite book plot, favorite show plot. Favorite book plot, anything with this guy. Favorite character in the books, even though we hardly know anything about him. But conversely, also anything with Varys. Love Varys the Spider, and let me see. Hold on, I got a couple of different. I got this guy right here. Also got this guy right here. And also got look at the little dragon, eh? You know what? I don't see Varys. I definitely want to get Varys because Varys is my guy too. So yeah, anything involving either Varys or Littlefinger is a favorite plot because I think it shows the undercurrent of how society moves. Brienne kind of became a favorite plot of mine in Feast for Crows, up until she runs into Lady Stoneheart too, and I'm hoping we get to see a resolution of that sometime soon. Show plot, favorite show plot. Favorite show plot. Honestly speaking, as of season 7, I really can't call it right now. Oh man, season 7 was a fucking train wreck. And I know there's gonna be people who aren't gonna like that statement. Yeah, there's gonna be people who are not gonna like that statement whatsoever. But there are a lot of people out there. I mean, look, man, I'm friends with a lot of YouTube reviewers for Game of Thrones, and so I spend on my way to work or on my way home, I hop on YouTube while I'm on the train, and I watch their reviews, and a lot of people were not happy with a lot of the plots for this season. So I mean, it's I honestly don't have. You know what? No, I'll say Euron. Fuck it. Yeah, the guy I'm talking about today. I'll say Euron. He's probably the most interesting man in the story right now, and his plot is probably the most interesting. Let's see here. But Lenny, what does your girl not believe that you know? I honestly wish we could have got more out of the Maesters because the whole thing with the Maesters was it started off as kind of interesting, but then it's one of those things where it's one of those things that it got to a point where it's just like, all right, well, the Maesters were cool until you found out that it's like, all right, they have this rigid belief system. That's like, yeah, um, I only believe in whatever I'm taught here at the Citadel, kind of thing. You know, so and Marwyn was the counterbalance to all of that. I love Marwyn in the books. A lot of people thought that Jim Broadbent was playing Marwyn in the show, and it's funny because a few people, you know, and this is what I'm saying. I watch a lot of people's reviews, even if I don't always comment or whatever. A few people um actually were calling Archmaester Eberl's Marwyn for like maybe the first or second, like, yeah, like at least the first episode, maybe two episodes. Oh, okay. Wow. So, all right. Well, so Lenny, does your girl know like about my channel? You know what I'm saying? Because that would be funny. Like, you know, so last Tuesday, I actually did Game of Thrones trivia. Yeah, I did Game of Thrones trivia at a bar in Manhattan, and you know, I won. And I'm not saying that to brag or anything. Like I'm, you know, the like no, like wow, congratulations, you're the biggest fucking nerd. Wow, you know. But the funny thing is, I'm there, and there were people who there were a couple of people who knew about the channel, and it was kind of like, wait, you're Don Willie from YouTube? Like, yeah. But wow, I can't believe it. Yeah, I'm like a real, you know, YouTube celebrity. I'm like, where the fuck do you see a YouTube celebrity at? Are you serious? YouTube celebrity? Oh, like no, man, no. I like you notice that you're one of the only three people out of this group of like 30 who recognize me, right? I'm not a celebrity by any any stretch of the imagination. Oh my god! But yeah, I won. I got like and it's funny because I had a team, and it's funny, like so. All right, let me tell you how this slowly, you know, quick aside on this whole trivia thing. So I get to the bar early because my work schedule was pretty early. And that's why I'm always on Thursdays when you see me like, all right, I gotta go, right? My work schedule was pretty early, so I had like 3 or 4 hours to kill before the actual trivia started. So I get to the bar. I'm like, fuck it, you know, let me just order some bar food or whatever and some drinks while I'm waiting. And so one of the hosts of the trivia thing comes in, and I'm not, you know, knowing how this whole thing is set up. I'm thinking this is just some regular people doing this. And I come to find out it's like a company that like some people have made up a trivia company. You know, go to bars and do the stuff, right? So the host comes in. I'm like, hey, you know, I'm Don, and she just kind of like, I'm like, yeah, what's your name? So she tells me her name, but she's like very disengaged. I'm, you know, just on some more like, oh yeah, okay, you're Don, okay, yeah, who the fuck cares? Like that was the vibe I got. She didn't actually say that because I would have been like, are you fucking crazy? Do you know that? Nah, I wouldn't have gone off like that. It would have been ridiculous. So yeah, like I'm there and I was gonna be playing by myself. They had teams of people. So finally, two other people come. They sit at the bar. So there's an older lady. I forget what her name is, and then there's a young guy that they said, you know, they're like, oh, you guys are gonna be a team now. I'm like, Okay, whatever. So I'm just like, all right, look, oh, this is all show stuff. Show stuff is easy. Because I talking to them, I kind of knew that I was like, look, if I rely on them for answers, we're screwed. Like, let me do all the heavy lifting and we'll win. So, other than like one answer, I answered all the other questions. And out of the 5 rounds and like maybe 45 questions, I think I got 4 wrong. And some of it was really obscure stuff that it was like some of it were like quotes. It was like, oh, who said this thing? And if you're trying to, mine through quotes in the show, sometimes it gets a little tricky because there are things that other people that someone says that you would think another character said, and I'm sitting up like, damn, what scene is that from? It's like I know the quote. Oh, this person must have said it, and then you come to find out, no, it was somebody totally different. It's like, shit, I didn't even know that person had any lines. So that's kind of what happened with that. So, I called our group the Sworn Swords, and then we wound up winning. I mean, we won by like a large margin too. I think we won by like 20 points versus like the next competitors or whatever. And I got like a $50 gift certificate to use at the bar. So I split that with the other 2 people on the team. Teamwork makes the dream work. Can't be selfish. All right, but yeah, back to the whatchamacallit, the questions and all that instead of me rambling. From Ian Renfro, will we see the Citadel again? If we see the Citadel again, it'll probably be burning. Yeah, it'll probably be burning. From Leslie Powell, do you think Euron is going to turn on Cersei with the Golden Company? I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, look, I would love for Euron to have some major tricks up his sleeve, like the book version, because the book version keeps on having all of these crazy tricks up his sleeve. So it's like every time you think, okay, there's nothing crazier that he can do, he pulls a rabbit out of his hat. And you're like, oh, that's the craziest trick he can do. Then he pulls some doves out of his pocket. It's like, oh, that's the craziest thing he can do. Then he pulls the handkerchiefs linked together in different colors out of his mouth or whatever. That's the craziest thing he can do. And then the next thing you know, he opens up a portal and pulls a planet out. And it's just like, I didn't think that was possible. Period. And he did it. So I would love for Euron to be on that level where it's just like, yeah, no, him going to get the Golden Company, and then Cersei saying some crazy shit to him, and it's like, oh, soldiers, get him, I'm your queen or whatever, and I'm paying you, and then just like, are you fucking crazy? Euron's the one paying us. Euron is super fabulously rich or something like that. Like we find out that Euron has like fucking 10 million gold dragons that no one ever knew about. Like, I would love to see that. That would be an ultimate Euron move. Let's see here. So Ian Renfro wants to know if I blushed. I guess from being called a celebrity. No. Oh, Swain Land. What's going on? Let's see here. Oh, so Ian Renfro. No, thankfully, "bad pussy" was not one of the quotes. Oh god, so lucky that was not one of the quotes. I actually do not remember the quotes that they used because after every round, like we had to write down who we thought the quotes were attributed to. And then they gave him back, and then it was like, all right, so say the answer. Who said such and such? The Night King. Was like, no, you idiot. The Night King has never spoken, and apparently he will never speak. And it's funny though because the guy who creates languages, who created Dothraki and Valerian. And by the way, you know what? I'm actually gonna start studying Valerian just because. Um, but he created a White Walker language, and they decided not to have the White Walkers speak. And Mark from Enchantment of Eternity, who's in the chat room right now, he was saying that for him, the Night King on Viserion looked like a cartoon. Which, yeah, I'll be honest with you, it kind of did look cartoony, and I think part of the reason why is because you know what it reminded me of, like thinking about it, like Pink Panther, because the Pink Panther was more or less a silent cartoon. There was absolutely no talking in that cartoon. And so it makes it a little bit more comical because you're only having to go off of the actual actions that you see on screen. And so having the Night King do all of this stuff, and there's absolutely nothing, he's not saying any kind of words, he's not giving any verbal commands, he's just there. And plus, remember, he's kind of got a blank stare. I mean, like, I have to go back, but I'm like, did he even have any eyeballs this time around? Like, if he doesn't have any eyeballs, then it's like, yeah, he definitely looks like a fucking cartoon at this point. It's like how you see every time they draw a Batman with the mask on, and he's just got the white eyes, or the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are just the white eyes with no pupils or anything like that. Yeah, so him bobbing up and down on the damn dragon, and then the dragon just shooting whatever fire, whatever the hell it is at the wall. Yeah, it did kind of look like a cartoon, and I think the fact that he didn't speak, that he hasn't that he hasn't spoken any kind of anything this entire time. Yeah, I mean, it really kind of lends itself to cartoon villain status a little bit. Not 100%, but it's really pushing the line there. It really is. All right, so question from Wingy. Did Danny and company just forget about Alaria, Sand, and Dorne? All right, let me get to the rest of it. What about the spears of Dorne? Oh my god. Yeah, see, this is what I was talking about earlier. When it comes to, dropped plots and all that stuff, man. I mean, pretty much, as far as we can tell, Alaria is still in that dungeon, or she's dead, or something. And Dornish army? What Dornish army? Yeah, because if you think about it, right? Just because Alaria Sand never made it to Dorne doesn't mean that there shouldn't be a Dornish army still waiting in the Red Mountains to move. I mean, and let's think about it though, right? So you have also the fact that in season 4 episode 1, they make this big deal about the procession of houses coming in from Dorne for Joffrey and Marjorie's wedding. You got the whole thing with Tyrion telling Pod to look at all the banners and all the heraldry and tell me what houses they are from. And then by the time you get to season 6, Alaria Sand has killed Doran Martell, and we never get any mentions of any other house whatsoever. And apparently Sunspear is all Dorne according to the show intro. So yeah, Dornish spears. What are those? I do not know this Dorne that you speak of. What is this Dorne that you speak of? I'm sorry. The Reach is the furthest kingdom in the south. But yeah. Oh my god. So FL Darby wants to know, what is my rating for season 7? His is a 6 out of 10. Man. I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch the episodes, which I don't know whether to view them as a drama or a comedy at this point. And when I say comedy, I mean like, the bad kind of comedy where you grab, a big bottle of some strong alcohol and you just sit back and you laugh at all the inconsistencies. And then the next day you regret that you did all that drinking. You're just like, oh man, I did all that drinking for this. I don't know. I mean, like, I might have to give it a 5 out of 10. I'm gonna do a full, like, a season recap. I'm trying to put together a recap squad. I'm trying to actually have a few folks that I've never had on the channel for this one. Some people that I've been kind of contacting back and forth. So we're trying to put together something, but difficulties because listen, I'm connected all around the world, so you never know who might show up on that one. So I'm trying to get that all set up right now. But preliminarily, is that even a word? Look, as it stands right now, 5 out of 10. So super average. So I'm sorry. Please, like put your how you pronounce your name in the chat room, because I'm Saturn. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to fuck you up your name. Like, I've never seen that combination of words. Letters before, so it's yeah, we did need a Dane. See, that's the thing, man. Like, we had the Sword Dawn, we had Arthur Dane. We never got an Edric. We never got Darkstar, as a lot of people like to call him, Darkstar. Yeah, it's there's so much that we never got that it really it's really hard to tell. It really is. Like, damn it. And it's funny because I wanted, look, for people out there who say, oh, all you people do is complain, etc., etc. Like, I think you guys don't realize that we actually want the show to be a 10. We want the show to always be a 10. I don't think any of us who do reviews or who watch the show just to watch the show are sitting there looking for the things to pick apart. But you look, I've said this before and I'll say it again. I do investigations for a living, okay? I look for problems. That is my job. My job is to find problems and to tell people what they need to do in order to correct those problems. That is what I get paid for when I'm not making videos on YouTube. That is my full-time job. Okay? So you can't tell someone who has that kind of job to turn off their brain and to ignore problems when their job is all day is to literally spot problems. You can't. It's just not going to work. That's like you trying to tell Batman, like, yeah, I want you to, to ignore crime. Like, yeah, you're in Bruce Wayne mode right now. You gotta ignore crime. Like, really, do you think Batman, even if he is on the streets in his finest suit, finest shoes, is going to ignore crime because I'm not dressed in my Batman garb right now? No. So no, I'm sorry. You people out there who do, oh, it doesn't have to be this, and why does it have to make sense? And what is this logic thing that you speak of? Look, I'm sorry if if higher brain functions are not properly working for you, and if you just if understanding that consistency means something to people. I'm sorry if consistency means nothing to you. Okay, I'm sorry. I can't help you with the fact that you can take inconsistency and yeah, fuck it, man. I can't. Enough of me, you know, getting on with it. What did my friend call it? Intellectually feral. The guy in my office called people like that intellectually feral. So, mm-mm. All right. Let me see if I got any. Let's see here. Any more questions? Yeah, you're right, Leslie. Post-show breakdowns expose D&D's weak writing. You are absolutely correct. Lenny, I was thinking the same thing too. We have not seen Ghost since John was resurrected. Ghost has literally been missing since John was resurrected. And let's see here. Suterin, I'm sorry if I pronounce this all fucked up. Comparing it to older season makes it bad, but compared to other shows like Rick and Morty this year, it was still top of the barrel. I don't know, man. Rick and Morty, Rick and Morty has been like, I love Rick and Morty right now. Rick and Morty, I think, is a great take on pop culture and just in general, like how like Rick and Morty, I think, was made for people who really like to dig into things and look for Easter eggs and stuff like that. So yeah, man, Rick and Morty to me was is doing better than season 7 could even possibly imagine. Shout out to AJ. What's going on, man? Let's see. From Hypernuts, if no one complained, the show will never be better. Look at how fans went crazy over Wolverine Origins fake pull. Exactly. If people wouldn't have complained about the bullshit supposed Deadpool and Wolverine Origins, we wouldn't have got the real one that inspired this particular hat right here. So, yes, people need to complain when the product that you receive is subpar. Okay, so from Sataran, I'm trying to get this right here. Do you think the Starks could have an affinity for cold like the Targaryens do for fire? Seems Ned sleeping in the nude during the winter, Benjen being cold hands, and John jumping in frozen lake. I mean, it could possibly, yeah, it could possibly be. I mean, they live in the north, but the thing about it is too, Winterfell was warmed by a hot spring, and it seems as though like the whole cold hands Benjen thing was kind of shorthand for Benjen is still alive north of the wall, or he is trapped by the White Walkers. I think that was supposed to be visual shorthand for that, because George, unless George has lied, has specifically stated that Benjen is not cold hands in the books. And honestly speaking, before George came out and said that the Night's King definitely is not alive, I thought that Cold Hands could have possibly been the son of the Night's King. I did a video on that years and years ago. Well, not years and years, maybe like 2-3 years ago. It was like one of my first videos I ever did on YouTube. Shout out to Icy Spots. I'll get to your question in just a moment. Let's see. Yeah, AJ out. Season 7 finale was shocking, but maybe not for all the right reasons. All right, so from Julie Renninger, the show is completely no longer George R. Martin's creation. It's a bastardized story. Unfortunately, yes. Sean Land, free Ghost. Indeed. Free Ghost, goddamn. Free up the CGI budget and bring back the fucking wolf, you bastards. Alright, from Todd Fowler, do you watch Black Mirror? No, I do not. I believe that's on Netflix, and I think that's part of my queue. I think that is in my queue on Netflix. Frank Sanford says that Ghost has been off in the Vale, letting Robin Aaron ride him around the castle. Could very well be. Let's see here. Okay, from Icy Spots. What? Let's see. What are you planning for the off season? Any live streams? Yeah. So, Ice and Fire. these Ice and Fire opinions will continue. You know, yeah, these Ice and Fire opinions will continue. You know, pretty much I'm gonna cycle through damn near every character that I possibly can. If I got enough information on them, if I find them interesting enough, and also if people request them, I will do more of these characters. So yeah, every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard, you can catch me doing Ice and Fire opinions. Let's see here. Alright, so from Icy Spots, please explain why Quentin is the true hero of the story. So Quentin is the true hero of the story because he is the person who is the most unexpected. You know, his sister just doesn't like him for whatever strange reason. His father shipped him off to be fostered with the Ironwoods, who aren't particularly fond of the Martells. You know, he does have a drop of dragon blood, and he is he is someone who's trying to do the right thing. You know, when Daenerys sees him, she thinks of, you know, the whole thing about kissing a frog and it turning into a prince, and apparently he looks like a frog. And I'm like, God damn, man, that's kind of, you know, kind of a fucked up thing to say about the dude. And she she immediately just kind of dismisses him, like, yeah, nah, sorry, I'm marrying you know, his daughter's a Lorak. You're too late. You know, and I think it would be a little messed up to just kill off Quentin Martell that easily. I think that Quentin Martell is going to come back and possibly sacrifice himself to save Daenerys and prove that he is the true hero, you know, and Daenerys should be ashamed of herself for treating that emissary like that. Because remember, he was an emissary from Dorne. So yeah, you know, you're not supposed to treat ambassadors like that. You're not. Let's see here. Mark from Enchantment of Eternity saying I need to watch Black Mirror, all in caps too. Okay, let's see here. Anthony Vasquez says hot pie. Just kidding. I don't know. Maybe he's calling me hot pie. I don't know. It's all good. Listen, I know I need to lose some weight. I'm not even gonna sit here in front. Like, I really do. Hypernut says Ghost is in the kennel at Winterfell chewing on Ramsay's bones. You know what? It was serving right. Yo, you know what's funny? So, alright, so the whole scene with the Umbers and the Karstarks giving, like, you know, like, oh, we're gonna leave those two in their castles. They never said what is gonna happen to the Dreadfort, because technically, since Sansa was married to Ramsay, she should be Lady of the Dreadfort. So, something for you guys to think about. Alright, so from AJ, who do you think is the next main character to die in Game of Thrones? Next main character to die in Game of Thrones. Main character. Alright, I'm gonna give you a sneak preview of a video that I'm thinking about doing. It is a theory video for season 8. And this might be super tinfoil, 25 feet worth. But imagine this. So Jamie has ridden north, right? He's basically ridden north by himself. We already know he's not a great fighter with his left hand. He decides he still wants to fight against the White Walkers anyway. He is killed and turned into a white. And in turn, he is let loose on Cersei. And maybe he hasn't fully decomposed yet, or maybe he has, or, starting to decompose. And with no mountain to protect Cersei and no dragonglass around, Jaime winds up killing Cersei and fulfilling the Valonqar prophecy, even though it isn't on the show. Imagine if that was to happen. So I don't know if Jaime would be the first main character to die, but I was just thinking about that. I was like, yo, that would be some crazy shit if Jaime winds up being killed, being raised as a white, and then winds up killing Cersei. So if you hear that anywhere else, make sure to call them a thief in the comment section. And then tell me who they are so I can call them a thief on Twitter. Alright, so Snow knows. Did Euron really leave like a coward and Cersei had to stop him from leaving? Or was this... I think it was a scheme from the beginning. The only problem with a lot of this stuff is that once you start to do the backtracking on how did they get to that thing, then it becomes an issue of, okay, well, they didn't know about the white, supposedly. So if they didn't know about the white, then how was it that Euron would have made his exit? How would Euron have made his exit? And yeah, once you start backtracking from there, then some of the logic starts to fall apart, unfortunately. Let's see here. All right, so from from Frank Stanford. Let's see. You think D&D are gonna f up the Golden Company in the show or do them right? Are they, and I guess are they gonna speak their model beneath the gold, bitter steel? Honestly speaking, I don't know. I mean, if Stannis Baratheon hired the Golden Company, if Stannis Baratheon actually hired the Golden Company and the Golden Company bailed on him, then that's already a mark against the Golden Company, because the Golden Company is known never to break a contract. Except in the books they do, but they break a contract because they are supporting Aegon Targaryen. So, and remember, their whole goal is to get back to Westeros, to reclaim the lands that their ancestors lost during the Blackfire rebellions. I'm gonna do a couple more, and then I'm out of here. I'm realizing like I'm kind of a little over time right now, so. So Anthony Vasquez thinks my next one should be about hot pie. Already got the next two planned out, but I will keep hot pie in mind. In fact, let me put that in my notes right now, so this way, remember for later. So Anthony Vasquez. My opinion. Hot pie. Alright, so got that in my notes. So one of these days, look for hot pie. Let's see here. Let's see from pardon. From Ian Renfro. Do you think D&D know the books inside out? Hell no. No. There were actually interviews from saying that I think they didn't know Sam was a POV. Yeah. So I'm didn't know Sam was a POV chapter. Let's see. John did say that first time you met Jamie, that's how King should look. Yep. Very, very true. So from Anthony Vasquez, is there magic protecting the walls of Winterfell from the Night King? I mean, that's the thing. See, there's so much that, like magic has been kind of turned down to a minimum for a lot in the show. So whether or not Winterfell has any magic in it, I'm not exactly sure because we just haven't gotten any real indication that that it has any kind of magic. So yeah, I honestly don't know. Like I don't want to give you some BS answer. I honestly don't know because the way that things have kind of been, turned down to a minimum as far as magic is concerned. It's hard to say as to whether or not Winterfell has any magical properties whatsoever. So let's see here. Lenny is saying Jamie is the GOAT. He's going to get the Iron Throne. I mean, hey, you never know. I mean, listen, he killed the last king, kills the queen. Maybe he'll actually take his place on the Iron Throne. That would be kind of interesting. All right. Listen, I think it is time for me to wrap it up here. Wow, been over 2 hours, almost 2.5 hours. Listen, I'd like to thank everybody who has watched me live tonight. All those who will watch me next week, and apparently I got another subscriber. That's Pablo Pozzolo. Shout out to you. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Yeah, like I said, I'll be back next week doing Euron Greyjoy. Same Ice and Fire time, same Ice and Fire channel. 8 p.m. Eastern. Make sure to tell a friend and tell a friend. So shout out to all those who joined me tonight. Shout out to all those who will be joining me next week. Shout out to all those who will be watching me later on after this goes off. Thank you to all those who helped me reach 3,000 plus subscribers. And yeah, you already know what the deal is. Rate, comment, subscribe, share. Tell your friends to come back for more. That has been my time, and this is Don Willie saying Vala Del Iris.